Today, I'm going to walk you through the entire high-level overview of the system that's inside and built into the Thriving in Motherhood Planner. Now, I want to call this the Win Your Week system because that I feel like is the right time frame to focus on. When it's hard to say like, oh, I'm going to have this amazing year, or I'm going to have this amazing month, or even an amazing day. Days are really hard to put all your eggs into one basket on because they are so volatile and not a lot of so much can happen in a day. It can be completely different than you thought. It can be really, really hard. You could have no energy. And so it's really hard to try and have every day be incredible. But within a week, you can have a pretty good mixture of some hard days, some good days, some awesome days, some productive days, some lazy days, and you can still win that week. So that is the time frame that I want you to focus on, because I'm amazed. I can have a really slow start to my week or a really fast start to my week, and by the end, it's the opposite. But if I can still get everything done that I wanted to with plenty of room to spare and margin for whatever might have come up, for whatever my kids needed, for whatever surprise crazy things popped up, because we seem to have a lot of those of late, and still end up with a winning week. So with that being said, let's go ahead and I'm going to walk you through this image of how this whole system fits together so that you can have a winning week.
Hi, I'm Jessica Jackson, and this is the new way to thrive in motherhood by leaning into who you are, what you love, your unique family situation and personal mission to create a life that you actually want to live. I want to invite you to join me in saying no to the life of the exhausted supermom, burnout, victim thinking, being pulled in so many directions, suffering through survival mode, or being lost in motherhood, and say yes to building strong families and moving forward on our greatest goals in order to create a fulfilling life that we are excited to wake up to each day and become a soaring mother. This is the Thriving in Motherhood podcast.
So, the very first thing at the top here is that you have your vision for the year. Now, this vision for the year is what we say is the very first step, right? I want you to have an idea of where you're headed. So whether you're someone who's totally bored now and you're trying to figure out what it is that you want your days and your weeks to look like, whether you are just packed to the brim and you're not feeling fulfilled and you're not liking that, and you need to figure out what it is that you do want more in your life and what you want less of in your life, this is the starting spot. So whatever season of life you're in, you need some sort of a vision. And it doesn't matter how fuzzy it is to get started, you need to start putting some concrete ideas onto paper, no matter how vague they are, because you will improve. It will get clearer, I promise. Doing this for 8 years now, it's so much clearer than it was when I first started, but I could have never gotten here if I hadn't gotten over the perfectionism and just got started. So we start at the vision. Now, if you look over here, we've got the sandbox, the someday maybe section. So this is a great spot for things that you're not ready to commit to, but place them ideas that you think are like, that'd be interesting. Ooh, that's a cool idea. I'd love to try that with my kids in the fall. Or that would be a fun adventure to take our family to in the spring. Or, I want to try this new tradition. Or, it would be helpful if I did this big project during this time of year based on everything else that's happening. It's just a way to think without commitment, without clogging up your calendar, without clogging up your to-do list. In the Thriving in Motherhood Planner, these are your sandbox spread pages. So you can see here that this fits here under the quarterly planning pages right here. So we start with the vision right here with my vision workbook and my vision. And then we've got your quarterly planning pages, and that's your sandbox someday maybe area. Now, that vision for the year comes down into your vision for the quarter. So those quarterly ideas, your idea for that vision now becomes what you're focusing on, and that becomes concrete projects, goals, and habits, as you can see here. Now, the projects and the goals are something that you have a start and a finish often. Habits are in orange because it's something that is repeating. Your vision for the quarter is going to be at your quarterly reviews here. So quarter 1 planning, quarter 2 review and planning, quarter 3 review and planning, quarter 4 review and planning is where you are going to be working on that vision for the quarter. And within those pages, you're going to have a spot to plan out your projects, goals, and habits for that upcoming quarter. Now, once you've got that figured out, you then go into your monthly planning. And on there, you've got your monthly planning pages. And as you can see here, every single month for January all the way down through, you have a monthly planning page. Now in there, you're going to have a spot to write down the goals, projects, and habits that you want to be working on for the next 30 days based on those that you've already decided you want to work on during the next 90 days. You got to break it down. And there's a spot for your self-care as well. So the things that, and I'm not talking about like going to the spa necessarily, but it's the things of knowing that these are the things that are going on. These are the things that I need to be doing, I want to be doing. What do I need to do to take care of myself so that I can do those things? And that might just include having a conversation with your husband and saying, hey, this is what I'm working on. Can I get your support on Saturday mornings, right? Or finding a babysitter, or knowing that you're going to go to sleep on time and not stay up on Instagram or YouTube or watching crazy Netflix, movies, wasting your time and energy because you've got things that you need to be doing. Now, your monthly plan is going to filter into your weekly plan. And your weekly plan is what we're going for when you have a big 3 for the week and you are trying to take that vision and bring it into your week. So one of the big 3s for your week should be either one of those project goals or habits that you're working on setting up and implementing into your life. But there's other things also that fit into your week. So you're going to have next actions from those project goals and habits that you have to do that you might go into your context-based to-do list to help you be really efficient with those. You're going to have tasks that just come up that because you are a person in life, maybe it's calling the doctor, paying the bills, figuring out a leaky toilet situation, right? Just tasks that have to happen because you're a human, you're a mother, you're managing a household. Other things is you're going to have an appointment. It might be your doctor's appointment, might be physical therapy, might be with the school, might be parent-teacher conferences, right? Appointments. And then you also have scheduled events or activities. This is going to be your kids' after-school programs. This is going to be getting together with friends, having someone over for dinner, okay? They're just things that are on the calendar that are going to happen. And then the other thing that's feeding into your weekly plan are your recurring tasks and routines, which again are down here in orange because they repeat. Now, the place that you're going to put those, so R is in your weekly planning routines, which you can find now on the monthly spread. I talked about that last week as I went through and showed you all what those pages look like. But those weekly tasks, weekly recurring tasks can be found on your monthly planning pages. And the tasks that you want to do every month or within each quarter are now on the quarterly planning pages. So here, these pages on the monthly pages, you now have your weekly routines. And on the quarterly planning sections here, you will have your monthly routines. And then here in yellow, you have the planning sessions that you're going to do. So up here, you've got the quarterly review and your resetting. You want you to get back in alignment with what your vision was for the year, but also take anything that's new information into account. There might be things that you thought were going to be important this year that are no longer relevant. There might be new information that popped up, things you weren't expecting that now are part of your year. And so now your vision needs to adjust, and that's great. So you're going to decide what to let go of, what's new, what you need to add every quarter. You're going to reset and get clear again. Every month, you're focusing on getting the clarity. You're going to work through the clear monthly review process there's a checklist that walks you through all of this. In the planning pages here, the planning sessions checklist has all of these things listed out that are in yellow. And then every quarter or every month, we're doing the clear. Every week, you're doing the peace planning checklist. And every day, you're working through the daily planning with grace. And within that, again, you're guided through that process. Now, if we look at this, the one other element of the planner that we haven't talked about yet here on the pages is this looking ahead. And this is a great spot to just pull anything that's coming up and it's like a catch-all for anything as you get towards the end of the year that's coming up that you want to put on those pages so you don't have to wait until the 2026 planner comes out. You've got a spot to start capturing those ideas, those events, those important things all in one place. Now, one other detail is your habits that are in yellow or orange on this page are on your weekly spreads, and there is a box to track 4 weekly habits. Now, I only have 4 there because typically when something becomes like a totally ingrained habit, you don't have to track it and you don't have to write it anymore. And I wouldn't even, you might be adding 1 that you have to really think about, and you might have 3 that are in maintenance mode that you want to keep track of for a little while. But more than that would be like really hard to stay on top of, especially when you've got all these other things going on. So just to kind of go back over it, you're going to start out with your vision for the year, and then you've got a spot for more brainstorming with your sandbox, your someday maybe list. You've got your vision for the quarter, which breaks into project goals and habits for the year. You've got a monthly plan that is funneling those project goals and habits into something tangible to work on for the next 4 weeks. That plan then gets filtered into your weekly plan, but also includes next actions from those projects, tasks that are just happening as part of life, recurring tasks and routines that it takes to manage life in a household, appointments and scheduled events or activities, and also incorporated are your quarterly, monthly, weekly, and daily reviews and planning sessions.
Now, there's a really important element of the planning system that we haven't talked about yet, but is essential part of this process, and that is the think and process pages. Now, this is a lined piece of paper and a blank open box every single week. So you have your weekly spread, and then you turn the page and you've got these 2 think and process pages that you have every single week of the year. And the reason why is that we can often fall into this trap of having information and going in all different places from tons of different directions. Here you can see a whole list of inputs that we might have. And we really need a spot to corral it all so that you know that you can find it again. And so that is where these think and process pages come into play. So you might use it to take notes on any of these things. You might want to brain dump lists. You might be making measuring your kids for clothes and make a list there, or writing down what you want your different menu plans to be for the week, like some different family systems, and writing out like all your 7 days of the week and what is the themes for the week and what buckets are they, what are your different meals there, so you can refer back to it. So you just have this customizable space, and maybe you want to use it for keeping track of your budget, but you've got one of these pages every single week of the year. And so whether you're using it, to journal, to keep track of random notes that you have, or to be really strategic, and the first one of every month is for budgeting and the next one is for current kid sizes, however you want to do it, it works for you. However you'd like. And so here we've got the thinking process pages, all of this stuff can go into it. And then because you might have things you want to be referring back to frequently, at the very back of the planner, we have an index. And so kind of like the bullet journal concept, you can write the page number, because there's page numbers on every one, write the page number, label it, and you're good to go. And now you have your own index of important information that you want to keep track of and remember and refer back to again and again.
So I really hope that this overview gives you some visual tangibility of how this whole process and this whole Win Your Week system works, and takes you from this vision and where you're at now and helps you close that gap by just filtering that information and those baby steps powerfully through into something useful, helpful, tangible to you. So the 2025 Thriving in Motherhood Planner is going to be available for pre-sale October 21st to 26th. And when you order it from me during that time, it allows me to take it and do a one big bulk order, take it to a local printer. We chop off the binding, add coils, and then my kids and I package them and ship them all out to you so you can get them by Christmas and be able to have that as a wonderful gift for yourself or from a loved one, significant other to you, so you can use it all of 2025 and have an awesome life that you are creating. And so this is something where I can do it this way one time a year, and if you miss that deadline, I'm sorry, but you will have to wait until next year for me to coil it for you. But you can go ahead and order it Perfect Bound. It's still phenomenal that way. Everyone internationally uses it that way. You can take it to a printer yourself and get it chopped off and coiled, or a print shop or a a college campus often does that very regularly because they do that for textbooks. So there's lots of options if you still want to coil it yourself for a couple bucks. But otherwise, this is a one-time offer for you. I'm so excited to be starting this podcast up again, to be able to talk with you. I'm grateful that you spent time here with me today, and I'm excited to talk with you again next week.
Where you are planted, watch the blossoms grow.